What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We've got an amazing guest again with us today, one of the few repeat guests in the history of Real Estate Uncensored. It is Gene Volpe. He's back for part two. Back in the starring role, taking over the role from that Charlie Sheen made famous. If anybody remembers Hot Shots, that's a little Hot Shots joke. Anyway, for anybody that's of the millennial under the age of 32, you might not get that joke, but I don't give a crap. I don't know about you, Greg. I don't care. I do not care at all. No. All right, so we're going to get into a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about local marketing tactics. We're going to talk about how to track your metrics. We've got some cool stuff to get into. We're going to talk about the latest stuff that Gene is doing with his clients. He's the work about that he's going to do with Greg and their team in the Bay Area, and how he's going to maximize his marketing and kind of break things up into smaller chunks, and some ideas that they're working through for Greg's marketing. So we've got a lot to share today. So let's bring him in, the junior grandmaster himself. First in the co-pilot seat, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up today?
What? Matt, I have been looking forward to this show since the last time we had Gene on. The three of us cut it up so bad. I think we all had like cheek aches by the end of the show. We were laughing our asses off, getting a shit ton of education, all wrapped into one. So I'm pumped he's here. I had an incredibly interesting weekend. I went up to watch my best friend get married. No, it was not planned. 9 days ago, I got a call going, "Hey, Greg, what are you doing on like the 5th or the 4th?" I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "You want to come to my wedding?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to come to your wedding. You kidding me? What a dumb shit question is that?" And and since his girlfriend, his wife. Wow, I haven't said that one before.
Yeah.
That's popping the cherry on saying that word and get it on air. Wow. Okay, so his wife is pregnant, and his last name is Shotwell. So it was the Shotwell shotgun wedding. We had a lot of fun. It was a great time. So good to see everybody. And I'm just pumped Gene is here. I'm going to shut up because Gene's way smarter. And let's just launch this thing, Matt.
That's right. Gene Volpe. Gene, what's up today?
My boys, how are you guys? It was a great weekend for me too, man. A lot of Harlem Globetrotters and dancing with my two girls, and it was no different than any other weekend. But no, it was a good weekend. How you guys doing?
Dude, pumped, ready to roll, man. This is gonna be an epic show, man. Good shit's about to happen.
So here's what happened. So, if the feds are listening, I'm going to keep this on the down low. But I'm running a book right now. And the hottest action right now on the book is the over under 16 times McDaniel curses on this. I got a lot of action on the over. A lot of action. So if you're watching this and you want to play the opposite of what Vegas is saying, take the under. I don't recommend it. But
I wouldn't recommend that either. Yeah. When it comes to McDaniel cussing, never take the under. That's just That's it's like taking the Patriots to lose on straight money in the Super Bowl. It's just not. I don't know a lot about football betting, but everybody should know not to do that.
Absolutely. Hey, want to give a quick shout out, dude. Derek Evans is watching. What up, player? Hey, dude, he has got a show. The event's called Win That Listing in San Diego. Guys, if you're in San Diego, you got to check it out. We're going to get together with him, figure out what we can do, but go check his shit out, just like you guys are watching ours. So, but anyways, Derek, what up, player?
Yeah, and let's before we get into the stuff on metrics tracking, there was one quick question, Greg, that I thought was great for you to cover. Just throw out your perspective real quick, and then we'll get into the metric stuff. But Susan Fimiani on the Lead Gen Scripts page asked, "What do you say to buyers who want to go see a house that's out of their price range?"
You're out of your fucking minds. Why do you want to do that to yourself?
that's the script. All right, ding. That's one curse word. So we got one down, 15 to go.
We should make this a drinking game. One shot.
Over. Yeah.
That's right, man. This may for a lot, even more fun shows. I should just have like shots just lined up across my stand-up desk here, and every time Greg goes, I just plaster myself.
15 of them.
I love where this is going. I love where it's going.
That's right. All right, Greg. So what say you? What for real? What's a good script to handle that?
So Matt, Julie, your three obese little wood denting babies, you guys want to go shove your organic asses, orca asses into my car and go look at something that's overpriced? I don't know, Matt. That's just dangerous to my shocks. First off, so let's say they're pre-approved for 500,000, but they want to go see like a 650, right? That they know that they can't afford it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Waiting for that reaction. pal.
Well, I don't know. The question did not. You heard the question, same as I did. It did not specify whether they knew they were overpriced. It's just they are looking for a home that's out of their price range.
Okay, so I'd run along the lines of something like this. I'd say, Matt, Julie, hey guys, I want to just quickly chat with you. I noticed that you guys wanted to go take a look at 456 Maple Street, and I believe it's about the 650 price range. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last time that we spoke, you were kind of thinking about staying within the the 5 to 550 range. This is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $100,000 above that comfort zone for you. And I just want to understand, did you guys step in? Is there some additional cash I'm unaware of that can make that difference up? Did you guys decide that potentially you were willing to push yourself out of your comfort zone to get into a different area or a different kind of house? So why are we looking at this $100,000 above where you said before?
Okay.
So I would be very inquisitive. And what I did there also is I made myself, I gave them an out, right? Because maybe they didn't tell me everything. I said, well, is there something I don't know? Is there money that's available that I'm unaware of, that in our past discussions weren't talked about? Because they don't tell you everything all the time. Maybe they're holding back a little bit. They knew they could go to that 650 range, but they wanted to see if they can get a bargain at the 550. They don't like anything, so now they're going to go to their full limit. You don't know, but always ask and ask and ask and ask. And say, you know what, okay, if we go see the property, Matt, and you guys like it, what would be the outcome? Would you guys, would that monthly nut be an acceptable number, even if you liked it? Are you willing to pay that extra $500 a month or whatever it's going to be, or $1,000 a month? Yeah, Greg, we totally want it. If it's the right house, we want to do it. Okay, let's go take a look. Now, if they have a history of doing this and then walking away from the property and saying, well, it wasn't right, then they're wasting your fucking time. All right. Okay. Yeah, they're having mental masturbation about what they can actually afford and really do. But the reality is that they have a beer budget but a champagne taste, and we got to get them back down to the Bud Light range. Like, come on, guys, Bud Light's good. Come on, guys.
Speaking of that, Gene, let's relate it to the waters that you and I swim in every day in client service, right? So scope creep. Tell me a little bit about how you deal with that, where you have clients that come on that have the champagne taste on a beer budget.
I just laugh and giggle a little bit, and you can see this on video. I actually have somebody that's working with me on this new move, which is the condescending look like this. I do a little bit of that. I haven't perfected that yet, but I'm working on it. So you give the little what did you just? No. Well, listen, I sort of wanted to talk about what you and I do there, but I sort of, after this, I would like to dig a little further into Greg's answer, because I have a thought process about maybe putting the onus on somebody else so it makes you look like the hero. But it's the same thing. I think expectation is key in our business. I think, Matt, you probably know as well as I do that when a service plan is set, and when that service plan is set, there's certain items that are in there. And when somebody comes to me and says, and truth, this was hard. This was really hard for me to do in the beginning because I wanted business, so I wanted to give away everything. And when people said, well, okay, it covers Facebook and Twitter, will you come and also clean my house? And I would say, sure. What time can I be there? Whereas now I'm saying, I can come clean your house, but it's going to be $250 an hour. And because that's an add-on, because the service says these 8 or 10 or 12 things, I can do the other things that you want, but there's going to be a cost associated with it. So that's it used to be difficult for me, but it's an easy out now.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, and this goes for no matter what, whether it's marketing, consulting, whether it's real estate, whatever. That you mentioned the word expectations. That's so critical. I've learned this the hard way in my own business, based on learning it the hard way in the previous business, which is when you first take on a client, it's absolutely essential to have that expectations conversation. However that goes, Greg. Well, for you, it's the okay. Now the listing agreement, or at least we have an agreement to work together, either on the buy or sell side. Now let's talk expectations. Right. So that conversation starts there. For us, for me and Eugene, like when we sign up a new client on the marketing side, it's okay, we've had the sales call. We have the agreement to work together. You've given me a credit card or whatever the case is. Now let's schedule that call where we do nothing but go over expectations and talk about what it's going to be like to work together, because that conversation is so important. Aaron talks about this a lot in Expired Mastery. where he talks about you earn the right to ask for price modifications by setting up the expectations and then communicating with them what you are doing. That's one of the best quotes I've ever heard about getting price reductions in a listing. It's kind of a situation, and he's right. Like, you have to set it up in the expectations. Greg, you're really good at that too, in terms of when you take on a new seller client. But Gene, let's dig into that a little bit. You said you wanted to dig a little bit into Greg's answer because you have a theory about that. So let's do that.
Yeah, so I always, one of the things that becomes easy for me is when you have that third party push off. So it's like, look, Don't yell at me. It's not my rule. It's, my wife tells me I'm not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. So be mad at my wife, not me, right?
That's actually really good.
Yeah, it's third party.
So no, you don't understand. Like, I have to be at the dinner table at 5:30 p.m. or otherwise I will get reamed. Yes.
Yeah, and people that know my wife,
start using that too.
You have to. It's the easy way out. Now I feel like a 4-year-old child doing it, but listen, sometimes you need to do it.
That's right.
But no, when you're talking about buyers, and so Greg, from a real estate perspective, I know like on the East Coast, a lot of people do this, or at least a lot of my buyers agents do this, and that is maybe not a pre-approval, but a mortgage connection up front, where when you have that, like we're going to talk about analytics a little bit, and we can really get into setting expectations and how you can use these on your presentations as, the analytics of how people are going to see the property. But if I had a piece of paper that said, all right, Greg, you and I are going out and we're going to go look at your property. We talked about a $300,000 house, and now Greg comes to me and says, let's go look at the $500,000. I can go like, we talked to mortgage consultant C, and I don't know that is really what we're going to end up getting, So I don't know. The question, I guess, is this. Do you ever have people pre-approved? Do you require a letter prior to driving them around to 72 places? What's your thought on all that?
I don't get in a car without a pre-approval letter. Not pre-qualification, pre-approval. Qualification is bullshit. I mean, the ink isn't even worth as much as the paper on that. It's complete crap. That's like a cursory glance. Like, oh, they got a couple bucks in the account. That's a pre-qualification. A pre-approval is like, okay, you are approved to blank. And my script was based off of not having a pre-approval. So absolutely, I'm with Gene and Matt on this. 100% unequivocally, you always, no exceptions, not even your fucking mom, okay, get a pre-approval because
Yep.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yep.
So all of you guys that are just joining here, we are. Gene, what was the bet on the over/under stuff?
Gene is taking action on an over/under on Greg's cursing. So what was it, Gene? Was it 16?
I think we said 15, but I'm feeling like that. I undersold that a little bit. We're in minute 2 and I'm up to 5.
Right.
So guys, take the wager if you want to. Am I gonna go under the 15 or over the 15 on F-bombs or just overall cursing? Because we all know it's going to be the over. Let's be intelligent about this.
Right.
But I mean, always get a pre-approval, guys. I mean, I don't care if it's like, oh, just want to see one house. I don't give a shit. You're wasting my time. I bring my time and my knowledge into this industry. Okay, that's what I bring. Time, knowledge. So if they waste your time, you said yes to them when you said no to prospecting, following up with leads, going work on with a qualified buyer, or doing something else that's business productive. Value your time.
And the more stuff you do, like just genuinely and authentically, the more the busier that you are actually in the business or generating business, whatever the case is, the more that comes across psychologically to your clients, and the less likely they are to feel like they can just kind of jerk you around and take you wherever and go to houses they aren't really serious.
Matt, your mic completely died. Your mic completely died. But guys, what we were talking about right there is, Matt's right on something when it comes to your ability to spend time out and about doing stuff. I mean, Gene, a lot of the times when you're working with your clients, what are you helping them do in regards to value their time more? So explain a little bit about what you're doing for your clients on time saving.
Time saving, that's an easy one, right? I mean, one of the things that I always pitch to my agents, and really any business, is that marketing for you guys, like yourself, Greg, you're running your own business. I mean, McDaniel Callahan is a business entity that actually works for themselves, but hangs a license with Rockcliffe, right? I mean, It is what it is. So underneath Rockcliffe, there's 75 agents, which realistically is 75 different businesses, right?
Right.
So across the country, the average is somewhere around 50% that people should be spending marketing time on their business. So entrepreneurs should be spending anywhere between, let's call it 40 and 50% marketing their business. Now, you guys as real estate agents, a big chunk of that is gathered when you're out networking and talking to clients. That's marketing, right? You're marketing yourself. But there's other pieces to this, like your flyers, your hard mailers, your every door direct mail stuff, your brochures and prints, your open houses that you go to, your brokers opens that you go to, all these things that you do, factor in your blogging, your video time, your updating your social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, Pinterest, Tumblr, let me go, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is stuff that in our society today needs to be done for a small business. You need to be incorporating your social and your web presence into it. I'm not saying eliminate the hard paper stuff because you need it, but include those things in. And so what I'm saying to agents is this, Greg, if you are a real estate agent and you're spending the required 10 to 15 hours a week behind your computer on Facebook, putting posts up, then I would suggest that you go ahead and hang your license up with Rockcliffe and call me because we're hiring, right? Because why don't you just be a social media manager at that point? So let the experts step in and handle each element of what you're doing. Now, I understand on a budget, a lot of businesses start with a small budget, and that can be very difficult to do, right? So you have to really allocate your monies appropriately to do it. But you need to see in your world what's the biggest time suck. And I guess this is kind of like a dual factor. Not only is what's the biggest time suck, but what is a time suck of something that you need to perform. So if you decide that Facebook business page is a crucial asset to your business, and it's taking you too much time to do it, you have to start looking at reappropriating expenses into having somebody like me do that, right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
So divvy that stuff out to the experts is the point. So what I would say to agents is this: I could probably sell my own house if I tried. Why would I want to do that? That's not what I do in my world. I help agents market themselves. I want Greg McDaniel to come in, kiss the babies, negotiate the prices, and that for me it becomes easy. Go tell them I want $450. I don't care, right? You go back to them and say, sorry that my sellers aren't moving off $450. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Can't get mad at me, right?
And Greg, I have several babies with a lot of surface area that needs to be kissed. So if you get on that, that'd be great.
This is horrible.
lot of surface area, a lot of square footage. All right, let's talk about the metrics tracking a little bit. And the reason I want to get into this is because we're doing our final class today of Rockstar Prospecting, our first run of Rockstar Prospecting. The final class was earlier today. Our next class starts up again next Monday. And so today's session was all about getting people started and showing people how to track their numbers, right? How to track the number of calls you make, how many people you contact, what were the results, and then tracking it all the way down to where you can figure out exactly how much you're worth per hour in the seat. But also, if I put this much time, whether it's 2 hours a day, 5 days a week into prospecting, what do I make per year? And then we're actually taking people through, like giving examples with real, home values of if they worked 3 hours a day in place of 2 hours a day. I mean, in one guy's case, it made $100,000 a year worth of difference. I mean, it was absolutely insane, just the difference. Yeah, 1 hour a day. Yeah, 3 hours instead of 2 hours. 5 days a week. It made $100,000 difference in his income. So, Gene, how do you, like when you're tracking your metrics for clients? I know this is a common question that comes up. How do you even know if something is working on the marketing side on social media, and how do you get a baseline for what's a good metric to track and things like that? Because it's easy for us on the prospecting side. It's a little bit different on the marketing side.
Yeah, it is a little different, and it's also a little confusing, and it can be difficult to track. And what I mean by that is, depending on what you're advertising and how it gets to the viewer's eyeballs, that'll determine. Like you think about just on Facebook itself, you're talking about views for a video, reach. Like there's a lot of different elements, and in a lot of cases, people don't really understand what each of those values means. Yeah. So in a lot of cases, I got to explain the difference between a view and a reach, and how it gets there. But then that's only one small piece of the picture. So let's just say, for example, just to keep it simple, we're marketing an open house. And I have a marketing asset, like let's say a flyer or a video for that open house that I wanted to then take and market across all the digital mediums, Facebook, their web page. We're going to do a blog on Tumblr. I'm going to do 3 videos. It's up on Snapchat, right? So there's a million ways to market that. But at the end of the day, let me skip. I don't want to get to the end of the day yet. There's going to be on each one of those channels, there's going to be separate analytics. So you're going to go to Facebook and you're going to look at the reach and the views. You're going to go to your webpage and look in the Google Analytics and see the different numbers and details. You're going to go to different places and check it, kind of take that cumulative number and get a number. Here's the problem. The problem becomes at the end of the day. Now I skip back to the end of the day. How many people that saw your Facebook post actually showed up at the open house? Mm-hmm. That's where it gets a little tricky, because by the time they come to your open house a week later, they may not have known, or they might not remember that they saw it on Facebook. It's solidified, or it reminded them, but their friend down the street 2 weeks ago told them there might be a house for sale. You should go see it. So they may tell you if you ask, and you, as an agent, you better be asking. They might tell you if you ask, how did you find out about us? Right? This is even with your reputation online. People are searching for you. They're going to find you, but they might not remember that they solidified it through a Facebook Live podcast, right?
Right.
So the end of the day, with what most of the people that are watching this right now are going to probably say is, I don't understand anything he just said. It's too complicated. It's over my head. Here's what I would tell you. Just when you first start, the best way to gauge if it's working is that the number of conversations and activity you have with human beings will increase. Your instant messenger will blow up a little more often. Your phone will ring twice more. Your people will contact you or hit you at the gym about something that they didn't 2 weeks ago. This interaction with human beings will start to increase. And now you say to yourself, I don't understand why this is. I'm busy. It's buzzing. Well, part of it is because you're being active and you're consistent on your social channels.
Yeah, that really is a really important
you can feel
thing.
it.
A lot of people think that, well, in social media, I can't do them all. And you're right. You can't, because it's not your job. That's why I'm hiring Gene. Gene and I did a video. God, when is it? Was it a month? When the hell were you in 16 or 17?
No, everything's been 17, all 17. Yep.
I can't believe we're in March, dude. Okay, this for Q1 is just gone. I mean, what
crazy
happened? But when Gene came on, he and I did a 4:30 show, like I always do. I downloaded, got it over to him. He's like, Greg, I'm going to tear this thing up and I'm going to use it for a year's worth of content. I'm like, what? A year's worth of content? Are you shitting me? He's like, no, dude, that's totally easy. You know, our job is to buy, list, and sell properties and negotiate terms. That's what we get paid for. And hand holding and dealing with psychotic clients. That's our therapy side. But realistically, you need to hire someone that can and does have a process to do the social media, to do the other things that are not your core priorities when it comes to your real estate. I mean, if you got to partner up with somebody and create a team, then you guys can build off of that and use Gene and his crew for that, or someone along those lines. Do it, but look for the other places in your life that you can time hack and life hack yourself so that you don't have to spend your time doing the small shit. I mean, hire a transaction coordinator or a TC for a couple $100. Have them run all the paperwork for you so you can spend more time doing the prospecting. Because if you can make $100,000 more by spending 1 extra hour on the phone versus having to chase down a document that didn't get signed or didn't get initialed or some other bullshit, which you are not meant to do. Most of you real estate agents would rather pull your hair out and turn and light it on fire than have to hunt these people down because it drives you absolutely batty. Think about it, because I'm constantly trying to hack my life. Like, what can I do to hack my life? I have Eileen, I have Denise. Eileen's our team manager, and Denise is our TC. For the show, Matt, we have 2 assistants and a producer. I mean, it's unbelievable. Go get a triple line dialer for calling instead of using your little nugget here. Think about systems and ways for you to become a better use of your time.
Nugget.
Your nugget.
That's your term for an index finger. All right. I don't know where that came from, but I probably don't want to know.
Well,
all right. So we got a couple of.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. Do you mow your lawn? Do you mow your own lawn?
Nope, I don't have one.
Greg doesn't have a lawn.
Greg doesn't have a lawn.
We are, yes. We are single gentlemen. At least, well, Greg is. But we live in condos.
Somebody's in trouble. Somebody's in trouble.
Yeah.
I smell some trouble there. We're both single. Whoops. Uh-oh.
Well, what I mean is that we do not live in houses. I live alone at the moment. Let's put it that way.
I got you. No, I'm not digging.
That will soon change. I don't
want to dig in, but I get my point there. I have a small lawn. I live in a townhouse, so it's not like I'm living on an acre. But that was one of the decisions I made on. I may have to pay a certain amount of money to somebody doing it while I'm sitting inside drinking my coffee, watching them. But I know I'm not gonna get no poison ivy. I got news for you.
You're just watching it from the inside with the coffee. You're just like, You missed the pass to the left. No, go over it again. That was great. Okay, you got it.
That's a life hack, though. That's one of my life hacks. It's one thing I don't want to do.
It is. I mean, I have a house cleaner, and I haven't used her for the last couple of months just because I don't know why I haven't. But the last time she was there, she's just putting some elbow grease all up in there. You know, I'm like, oh shit, how dirty was my fucking house? But she spent 45 minutes in my bathtub. That should tell you something. I mean, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't dirty. I just didn't realize how clean it could be. But I mean,
that is spoken like a true bachelor. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
But I'm going to hire her. She's $125 a month, and she's going to come in once a month, give it a good deep clean. But that's a life hack for me because I don't want to fucking spend all the time cleaning. It sucks on such levels. Ugh.
All right. So Rob Glow says, well, first of all, he says Mo's bachelor pad. That's absolutely true. But he had another good question here, which is, how do you know what to charge or pay for someone else to do your social media? So, Gene, I mean, you've kind of systematized a little bit about what you're doing, but I'm sure you've kind of looked at what else is out there in terms of paying somebody to do your social media. Usually the options for an agent are do it myself or pay my assistant, who is, just a general office person, to do something for me. And they have kind of no idea what to have them do. It just gets wrapped up into them paying an assistant. So if they start to look at outsourcing their social media, what even is a good range to look at and what for?
Well, I think it always, you were talking about this in the beginning, an hourly rate, and I think if you just break it down, let's just say I have an assistant for me and I'm in the real estate business, and that assistant we're still trying to set him or her up to do certain things for me. And let's say I pay her $15 an hour. Mm-hmm. If you look at what my service gives you, and I don't really want to harp on my service, but you get the idea. If you look at a service and you sort of know, like in my world, I sort of know how long it takes for you to actively be on Facebook and on your business page, and how long it takes you to set up a scheduling, like a content scheduling for the week, and then actually going and posting it. And so at the end of each week, I would say, okay, so if I was to do this myself, that would be 11 hours worth of work. Mm-hmm. I could pay somebody, let's just say $400 a month, like a service. Let's say I have a service that I'm looking at, and one of our biggest services is $395 a month, just to get that out there. Mm-hmm. So we'll keep it even. 10 hours a week is 40 hours a month. Right, we're saving you a full week, or your assistant a full week. And if you break it down, it's about $10 an hour. So do you want to take the time to train them? Do you want to take the time like when we step in, we know the game. Outside of your geography, we've been playing in the real estate field for a long time, and the marketing field. So we know what works. We know what doesn't work. We know the ups and downs. So you have to take into consideration, all right, I could save some money and pay somebody $8 or $10 an hour to do this, but I got to get them in here. I got to sign them up. I got to write out checks when we pay them. We got to do a W-9 at the end of the year. I got to train them on my business. I got to show them where my listing presentation is, like all this stuff. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is a 3-month process for you to bring somebody up to the speed on your business at $10 an hour versus, like, let's say $15 an hour. Are you saving that? Are you tripping over what do they say? Tripping over the nickels to get to the dollars or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a hard thing, right, Matt? Like, I can't say to you, you need to, here's the numbers.
Here's the thing about scaling that people need to understand in terms of like hiring people and stuff like that. And you find this out the hard way, unfortunately, which is when you hire someone and they have like this block of time to give you, you tend to give them stuff that you wouldn't pay the hard cost of getting done. Because you figure, oh, this person works for me, I can just put it on their plate and it will get done. It really doesn't cost me anything because I'm already paying them X amount of dollars per month anyway. The problem is it does cost you. You have to look, just like you said, Gene, if you can buy a service to do X, and the average cost of that is about $10 an hour compared to paying your $15 an hour assistant to do it, it does legitimately save you that money because you can have your assistant do other stuff that generates you more business or takes even higher value things off of your plate so that you can go out and generate business, right? So here's the problem that agents have with scaling up and hiring people and all this stuff. It comes down to one simple thing. What are you going to do with the time that you save? Because if you can keep on moving yourself up into higher and higher value work, then you can keep on hiring and you can afford to pay for a social media service and you can afford to pay for an assistant and all this stuff. The problem is, at the end of the day, you have to go prospect. Like that's your highest value work.
Listen, what you just said there was absolute poetry. Let me dig into that a little further and make it real world terms for a real estate agent. If you have somebody that's on your staff, let's say you're doing half. Let's say you have somebody, your assistant, that is doing 5 hours a week of marketing, right? You take that money and turn that off to an agency. What could you do with those 5 hours for your assistant or yourself? Let's say it's your own time, right?
Yeah.
What could you do with those? So let's say, hey, Greg, ready? You're the cold calling king, right? How many cold calls could you make in 5 hours?
Fuck, dude. Probably 750 to 1,000 plus.
All right, give me a conservative a return rate. Tell me how many of those you convert into a listing or a buyer. 750 calls.
That's fucking hard, dude. That's the time.
I think according to the sheet we were looking at today, it was 1 in 250, right? One lead for every 250 calls.
That gets either a now business or a nurture business. So
Okay.
so every 250. So let's say you get 4 or 5 clients or prospective leads out of that calling session.
Right.
Out of about 1,000 calls. That's a tremendous use of time. Although you will just want to go watch paint dry at the end of that because your brain's gonna be freaking melted. But it's a much better use of time than dicking around with paperwork or social media posting.
Well, listen. Let's get conservative. You just gave me some numbers. I'm throwing them around. So let's say we do 5 hours a week at 750. But I'm going to do you one better. 500 cold calls each week for a month. Right. Okay. So you save 20 hours by paying somebody $400 to do your social media. Right.
Done.
You got 2,000 cold calls over a 30-day period. Does Greg McDaniel feel confident he can convert one of them?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, you just paid for your marketing for the whole year.
Oh yeah, no, the people who don't see it because they get lost. They're staring at the trees and they're not looking at the forest. I mean, they're like, oh my God, this is such a big tree, such a big thing, and there's more trees over here. What do? Dude, go up 10,000 foot, look at the forest, and see which way you want to go. Don't get stuck, in the trees down there in the weeds, and budget it out. Matt, we started about a budget in the beginning of this whole thing. Just look at what it is. Take what your time is worth. That's what our sheet does, in the Rockstar Prospecting sheet. It shows you what every minute, every client, every door, every conversation, every hour, and every client is worth to you. And it's based upon your ability to convert. We start off at 5% of converting all the leads. We break it down so it's super simple so you can have a real-time guesstimate of what you could potentially be making. Are you leaving me? Oh, Midori's leaving me.
Bye, Midori.
Everybody says bye, Midori. There's hearts breaking around the world that you're not going to be in the background. You gotta embarrass her a little bit.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But you know what I was saying is that, like I said, I told Toby Salgado from Super Agents Live. He and I were talking the other day, and he made a comment to me. He's like, Greg, you got to do what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, Tobe, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to try to work myself out of a job. I'm like, oh, that sounds sexy, like a chick in a bikini. That sounds sexy, something I want. And it's like, God damn it, McDaniel. But you know what? It is something that I want. Well, let's work my way out of a job. What does that look like? Gene, what do I do if I don't have a job? You go do something you're passionate about, right? You still have a consistent income. Sherry Crabtree is, Sherry, knuckles to you, girlfriend, if you're listening. She's one of my very, 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 very first McDaniel Challenge clients. And she had some ordeals and trials and tribulations in her life, but she was able to bounce back, and she was able to do it because she had worked herself out of a job the first round, got out and just got checks. Then her life changed. She got back into it, but she's already taken down like $4 million listings all over again without even breaking stride. So I don't really know where I'm going with this.
Actually, I don't think you know either. Greg, I think you make sure your microphone is all the way up as well. Somebody, Paul Franklin made the comment that your mic is your volume is a little low. So, Gene, let's get into kind of what's working. Guys, you can check out Rockstar Prospecting at rockstarprospecting.com. The next class starts on Monday. Guys, so check that out. All the information is there. The prospecting sheet that we talked about, the numbers tracking sheet, is included in that class. So anyway, Gene, let's talk about what you're doing for Greg. So he mentioned just briefly that you're going to take a video of his and break it up into a year's worth of content. So how do you do that, and what can people learn from that process?
Well, that piece of it is pretty simple. So before we get to that, there's an old saying, and it's sort of outdated now because there's a new one that's kind of come over it, but it still is relevant, which is content is king.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to explain this without getting way too geeky, right? But we all know what the algorithm is on Facebook and how it decides how many people are going to actually organically see your content. So when you go to your Facebook business page and you post stuff, let's say you have 1,000 fans. Typically, if you post an article, a link, a video, you're going to hit 150 to 200 of those people without having to spend $1. So they've changed the algorithm again recently. It's gotten a little bit lower than that, but you'll start to see that. All right. And they will continue to do that because that's how they extract dollars from you to market. Right? Makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So at the end of the day, last time we talked, it was listen. Every 4 seconds I said, listen. Today it's at the end of the day. I don't see what happens. I focus on something I don't want to say, and it goes to something else. So listen, right? But so that algorithm that Facebook uses, Facebook rewards a couple things, but one of the things they reward is consistency, creativity, dynamic content, and content that people want to see. And what people want to see, and this is not, you could call it my opinion, it's not my opinion. The content that people want to see is video. And the more video you have, the more organically your reach will increase, right? So what do we do? We keep our content flowing, and I'm not saying eliminate posts and videos from other people, and I'm not saying eliminate photos. These are all important elements. What we need to do is get in your rotation video. So going back to your question originally, Matt, which was how do we do that? This show we have right here today is going to end up being about 60 minutes long. There's going to be some good pieces from here. Some of it is throwaway. There's going to be a lot of stuff, right? Yeah, listen, probably 90% of it is
just the parts where Greg was talking.
Yeah, this is what's going to make me marketing him tough. It's going to be tough for me to market him because we're going to listen. Here, ready? Let me give you an example of what it's going to sound like. All right, Greg, what do you think? Beep 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 beep. That's what's going to sound like.
It's like a truck backing up.
Yeah, right.
I thought you sold real estate.
So what we do with that content is I'll take this takes a little bit of time, right? So you got to go through it, but we do it. My best tip is to do it while it's fresh in your mind. So I'll try to cut this up over the next 2 days because a lot of it I'll remember what we talked about, and I'll say, oh yeah, I remember that was a good point. So what I'll do is I'll take the video of this, the MP4, I'll load it into my iMovie or into my Windows Movie Maker. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. No. And then I basically will cut out 1 to 2 minute chunks of content that I can comment on. And what I like to do is I'll put a banner on the front and back. So you'll see my Gene Volpe logo or my GVI Media logo on the front and back with contact information on the back end so that while you're watching it, you know where it's coming from. But I just want a 1 minute snippet of boom, 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 tip, 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 free info, free info, free info. And by the way, if you need my help, give me a buzz. And from our 60-minute podcast right now, this live stream, I'll be able to extract 10 different 1 to 2 minute videos that I can use and start the conversation with on my social media platforms.
Interesting. Before I forget, Blair would like to know what you cost, and so would Rob. So, guys, I would reach out to Gene, do a Facebook message to him. He can talk pricing and packages for you. But we won't get into that here because I know that's probably more of a complex answer than it is just a question.
It can be. Yeah, it can be.
I agree. I really like what you were saying, Gene, because, a lot of the great marketers, what I've actually been listening to lately is long-form marketing is actually starting to take off in 2017. They're thinking that this is going to be a year of long-form marketing, like this long-form podcast, right? But what has been phenomenal for a long period of time is micro-content. That's exactly what he's creating micro-content. Dude, adults have the attention span of 1 second less than a goldfish. That's pathetic. So if we can actually market to them, that's why Snapchat's so great. 7 seconds. Oh, next thing. But if you can hold their interest, Matt and I, when he first got it, we first started doing this show, I'm like, dude, Matt, we're going to run ads and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And he gave me the disgusted look he generally gives me on the show of like, I'm looking down at you over my nose, but I'm doing it without saying a word. You're an idiot. He was like, Greg,
man, alive. What did I do to deserve that horrible imitation of me? Goodness. Man, alive.
But no, he said, Greg, we're not running ads. I'm like, Matt, we're running ads. Greg, we're not running ads. I'm like, Matt, this is half my show. He's like, Greg, this is half my show too. We're not running ads. I'm like, fuck you. And so then we decided to not run. He's like, Greg, I'm a millennial. I don't want to see ads, but I do want to get content. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we'll do the content play. And that's where Gene coming in and cutting this stuff up and delivering value to people in bite-sized pieces is so valuable. One, you get to be omnipresent, because if you're on all the channels always doing something of value, people will see you more often. And if you're seen as a value provider, not a value sucker, then people are going to want to be around you more often. And because nobody likes to be around the guy or gal that takes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually talked to this one lady on the cold call. She's like, all you real estate agents are the same. You guys are just bloodsuckers. All you do is take. And I just lit her up. Oh, Lord. She had never been verbally smacked like that before, because I'm like, excuse me, you will not talk to me like that. Second off, this is the reality. And at the end of it, she's like, well, thank you for putting me in my place. Now I know. I'm like, wow, that turned out well. But people have that perception about us. But that's why taking this micro content and showing people and guiding them. Matt does not want to do stuff towards the consumer on real estate. Well, he's not a real estate agent. I do, because I want to inform people. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that Gene and I are going to work on. Go to realtytimes.com and you guys can get articles there. Read them. You can work with Gene, and you can, he can. That's where a lot of value add comes in. But if you just want to put them on Facebook Live and push them out, guys, nothing better than bringing value to your clientele and your potential clients and buyers and sellers.
And I would like to hit on that, Greg. Let me jump in there for a second, because I just had this converation with a coach in another industry. Yes,
Matt,
I can.
You're in a relationship. You can't hit on anybody.
Yeah. I want to talk about what's of value to people, because there's a very dangerous, I think, confusion that people have, which is that this is something they need to know, right? Therefore, I should put out content about things that they need to know, right? Because they should know this, and then it will make their life better. They'll save money. They'll grow more hair. They'll get laid more often, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is people don't care what they need to know. They only care about what they want to know. So the example I was using, I'll use because it was based on a phone call I just had this morning, was talking with a very high-level recruiting coach who's been on the show before, Pasquale Scopoliti. He was talking to his son and business manager, right? So we're talking about the way that they were presenting themselves to the outside world, right? And they are extremely high-level strategic thinkers. Guess what? People don't buy that. They buy tactics. They buy shiny objects. You have to bring them in. You have to appeal to them with the shiny objects, and then they have to go through a conversion process where they realize, oh, it's not just about the shiny objects. I actually have to make some changes, and I have to maybe employ a new strategy, right? You can't get them on the front end with content they're not interested in, but you think they need. Real estate is the same way, right? So, Greg, you've always wanted to do like a show facing the consumer where you tell them all the things that could go wrong with a real estate transaction. The problem is they don't want to know that, which is exactly why they hire a real estate professional like you to absorb all that hassle. And it's why they don't care, and it's why they hire you. So what they want is they want to see pictures of pretty houses, and they want to see themselves on an HGTV show picking out and making offers on those houses and wheeling and dealing and getting like an offer that's 5% lower than list price accepted. Like that's what buyers want to see, right? So, Gene, like we talk about, I just wanted to make that point real quick that it's very easy for agents to fall into the trap of putting out content that the consumer needs to hear when the consumer is not interested in what you think they need to hear.
Okay, man. So
yay or nay? Agree or disagree?
You just want me to leave it there?
No. I want to get your perspective on it. I mean, this is what you do. You break up content from real estate agents predominantly to the consuming public. So you're in these waters a lot.
So here's where I sit on that.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, and I don't agree, and it's not It's not like what I say to my
Greg completely disagrees with me, so I'm just glad I get like a 45 to 49% agreement here from you.
I will give you 60%. I agree with you.
60%. Sweet. All right, I got 60%.
That's bullshit.
So, but here's why. Because there's a couple reasons, right? Number one is a lot of these people don't actually know what they want to hear, right? That's number one until you tell them. Okay. So in certain cases, like when you have somebody that's watching your content and they have a need for something specific, if you happen to be the one giving it to them at that particular moment that they need it, you're going to win, right? They're going to go, oh, I didn't realize that on a HUD or on a closing sheet, X, Y, and Z happened. And I just actually had that question yesterday. So time, place, score is a big element where you catch them, where they are in their thought process, where they are in the transaction, whether they started the search for real estate or they're thinking about it. There's a lot of variables. So here's what we do. I call this carpet bombing, right? So what we do is we put out so much content. This is the idea. You put out so much content that you're going to hit so many people at different times and needs that you're going to catch. It's like casting a wide fishing net, right? So you have to have that content going out all the time. So think of it from this perspective. I always say if I'm doing a presentation and I'm trying to explain to real estate agents how the internet works and how social media works, I give them this visual. All right, we're all sitting around the table, right? Imagine if I dumped a pitcher of water on this table. There's a really good chance that everybody sitting here is going to get wet. I don't know what path that water is going to take to get to your dress or your shoes or whatever it is, but I do know if I pour enough water, you're all going to get wet. And that is what I do on the internet. It sounds awful, but this is the statement that people run from that I've learned to absolutely embrace is this. Dude, you are all over the place. What the hell are you doing? You're all over the place. Because I log into Facebook and there you are. I go to Twitter, I'm watching a video. I get a Facebook notification. You're doing a live with this handsome dude and a guy that curses a lot. You can discern who's who, right? But I love that. I love that you're all over the place. I know I'm winning when I get that comment.
So I'm just chopped liver here?
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
You don't know who I was talking about. I didn't mention
there's virtue of there's virtue in putting out a lot of content, even if not all of it is going to hit, because you don't always know what's going to hit. I agree with that to an extent. So I'll give you 60% agreement from my end in exchange for your 60% agreement to my end. So I appreciate that. But I do think agents need to keep in mind that the old ad adage, the advertising maxim, which is enter the conversation that's already taking place in the mind of your prospect, right? Yeah, and just because what you feel like they want or need to hear that would be in their best interest is not always what people are going to respond to. Sadly, I wish it was. It's not. And the more that we can get better at entering the conversation that's going on in their head, and Frank talks about this all the time from viral marketing with all of their clients. Everybody comes and asks like, well, what should I talk about in my real estate videos? And you can say it as much as you want. You can jump up and down and scream, but you have to repeat it endlessly over and over and over and over and over again. The best content to put in your videos or any content that you put out there for real estate consumers is what questions are they asking? Right? When you're actually working with clients, what are they asking? Like, those are the best questions to answer. That's the best possible content to put out there for real estate is what are your clients that you deal with on a daily basis? What are the issues that they're actually confronting? And what questions is that causing to them to ask you? And then just answer them with those questions in the videos or in your content, stuff like that. That's entering the mind of the conversations already taking place in the people that you want to work with, because that's the conversation that's taking place with the people that you are working with. So that Greg is really good about that. I mean, Greg, you do answer questions. You do take questions from clients and stuff like that, and you actually do answer them in your videos. So I would like to give a quick tip of the cap to you on that. You know what I'm saying? Like you do that. You just want to do even more than that.
Yes,
so.
And I had a conversation with you. I'm like, Matt, we have this other idea for this other video that we can do. Matt's like, no.
If you had your way, we'd be doing a whole other podcast that had no listeners. It'd be called Real Estate 360 or whatever, and it'd be aimed at consumers in the Bay Area, and we'd have negative 1,000 listeners.
Wait, shut up. I'm gonna start boosting some videos, and I'm gonna prove to you, mother blanker, that I am right, fucker. And I'm gonna say,
Ding, ding.
oh, Matt, I got 3 more leads from people watching me. So
Yeah.
suck it, Trebek.
Yeah.
Does that count? Did that count? The finger count?
There's
I-
no verbiage.
That's a good question. We'll have to go to the judges on that. Okay.
Wait,
So,
no. I want to go back to carpet bombing and give Gene some props on that. I mean, I was at my best friend's wedding, like I talked about over the weekend. Dude, everyone that has somewhat of a relationship with me and is on Facebook, everyone kind of around our age, like, dude, I see you all the time live. I mean, Caitlin, if you're still here, knuckles to you, girl. She's with Viral. I had about an hour-long call with her. She said, Greg, I see you live all the time. Everyone says, Greg, I see you live all the time. So that I am imprinting on their brains. And so I just want to say, just by doing 2 lives, 3 days a week, and then doing a live show, the other 2 days a week, it really does have an impact on the consumers and what they think. So if you can bring information to them, like, here, 8 things you should do before, moving into a new home. This is shit they want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the consumer, price index. They want to talk about, what the fuck do I do when I move into my damn house? I mean, what are the protocols? What are the steps? Because that's the stuff that's on HGTV. That's the stuff that's all pretty in the nice box. Hey, Aileen. And that's what I'm talking about when I say do consumer stuff. So, Gene, you and I are going to join forces, and we're going to do everything that Matt would, just die a little bit if he had to talk about it. And then we're going to track the monetization of this, so I can one day be like, I was right, you're wrong, I win, you lose, best day ever. Yes.
hey, I'm not saying that content does not work. I'm just saying people will not listen to a real estate podcast for consumers predominantly.
You don't
That's all I'm
know
saying.
that.
I do know that. I do know that. Viral has 450 podcasts for real estate. You know what people do? They watch the videos and they don't listen to the podcast. So I have empirical evidence that people do not listen to real estate podcasts that are aimed at the consuming public. They watch videos. Gene, going back to your point about video. So anyway, let's talk about, Gene, how people can get in contact with you.
Manny thinks you're correct, Matt, and that's bullshit. Manny, you're wrong. I love you.
Yes. No. Go to the peanut. Let's go to the peanut gallery. I like this.
No.
Yeah. Talk to the people. See what the people are thinking. You got to talk to the people.
Little man on the street action.
That's exactly. Oh, you know what? We got to come up with a segment like that.
Oh my God, Gene, can we please send a camera crew out so that you can go to the streets of Philadelphia and just ask people? I would
love every minute of it.
Oh
I would
God.
love every minute of it. Yeah. I tell them I'm with Jimmy Kimmel. Look at this. I got to ask you a couple of questions.
That'd be hilarious.
So how do they get in touch with me? gvimedia.com or genevolpe.com, either one of those places. And you can always email me at genevolpe@gmail.com.
Well, that was simple.
That's easy enough. All right. And you mentioned you have packages, like one of your most robust, shall we say, packages is $395 a month. So, and then you've got packages that lead up into that. Yeah. So you've got, some different options for people at different price points. So, and we've already got people from our audience base that have reached out to you and are starting that process. So guys, we thank you for that. We thank you for supporting the people that come on to the show, because we don't just take anybody onto the show. For those of you that don't know, I screen everybody pretty much that reaches out and wants to come on the show, especially if they're a vendor, and we may want to make sure that they actually provide value to you, which Gene does a lot, not just in the service he provides, but just in what he can talk about on the show. When I have vendors that reach out to me that I have a weird feeling about, that they're just going to push their product, I don't let them onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we care very much about the people that we put on the show, and if they have something to sell and something to offer you guys, we want to make sure that it's good, that they have value to contribute, that they have a genuine heart for people in real estate, which Gene does. And so, yeah, I just want to throw that out there for you guys. But Greg, let's talk about Rockstar Prospecting for just a second, guys. You can go to rockstarprospecting.com to check that out. But Greg, you want to give us a quick overview of what that is for people that don't know?
Yeah, guys, it's going to be a month-long course, and we're going to be talking everything prospecting, high tech, high touch, how to blend both of them together. We're going to go over scripts, toning, timing. We're going to give you some new scripts, and we'll show you how it's working for me. We're ultimately going to be giving you guys an Excel spreadsheet that my father, the Grand Master, developed a number of years ago. We have employed a very nice gal out of Canada. She came in and made it bulletproof so no one can, screw it up and kill it and lose all your data. So it's agent proof now, which is great, which means it's Greg proof. And so that's going to be given to you guys. We're going to show you guys how to work it. So the class that just finished up today, when they finished, we asked them, hey guys, what was valuable? Has this been able to help you? Every single one of them raised their hand like, this is awesome. I'm putting stuff into my business. Thank you so much. So if you guys are looking for prospecting and you guys want to do it the way that you guys see me do it live, I'll give you my idiosyncrasies. I will show you why I stutter and stammer, why I'm okay with tripping over myself, what messages do I leave, how long do I do the calls. You can basically, and your spouses are going to freaking love this part, guys. If you stay true to yourself and what you promised to do on a prospecting, then we're going to give you a potential income revenue stream so that you can ultimately see what you could realistically be making if you spend the time putting your ass in the chair and making the calls or out on the doors or doing the networking, whatever it's going to be. But you can predictively work so that you can say, hey wife, hey husband, hey significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever is that to you. Look, I need this time for prospecting. Why do you need it? The kids need you. Yes, baby, I know, I love you, but I look at the amount of money I can make for our family. And then you can set goals and set realistic expectations for yourself, your brokerage, and your family time and everything else. But they're going to love the fact that if you work harder and get better at yourself, scripts, role play partners, accountability partners, morning routines, mental, where you are mentally, and you get yourself to become better than the 5%. Matt, would you agree with me? And we went from 5%, and we just bumped it up to like a rock star, like 35% conversion rate if you're really good at what you're doing. It went from like making $150,000 a year to making $2 million a year, and that wasn't like a $550,000 marketplace. Mm-hmm. And you didn't change your amount of hours, and you didn't change.
Even just improving your skills to double that conversion rate from 5 to 10% was ridiculous.
Dramatic.
Yeah, dramatic difference.
Like $300,000-$400,000. Just like, same amount of time. Okay. Yeah. That's why we're saying watch this podcast, binge on us if you will. Go be a seeker of knowledge. Go read the articles, go listen to the podcast, go to the seminars, really get good at this, become the best version of you, and your family and your future will thank you for it. And you can start off by going to Rockstar Prospecting and signing up for this future class. That's your jumping off point.
Yeah,
and you get
exactly.
all the recordings for free.
Yep. First class is on Monday, guys. Remember to follow Greg on Facebook. Follow him. Do not friend him, sadly. And then also follow him on Instagram. He is McDanielCallahan.realestate. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I am pursuing results across all platforms. Guys, subscribe to the show, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all that good stuff, depending on whether you want the video or audio versions. Anything else, Greg, that we need to mention?
No. Gene, thank you, man. It's always having you on again. I always am learning something from you. I know that people took stuff away from this show. But guys, like Matt said, follow me, guys. Follow me. I do for lives. Like I'll be going live here around 4:30, doing live prospecting and making it happen again, seeing if I get my ass kicked or if I get a lead. We'll see which one.
Thank you guys so much. It's always fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Gene.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Matt, what's our next guest? So everybody can be prepared for our next show, which is coming up in 2 short days.
It is, but I think it actually might be a solo episode. I don't believe we have a guest for Wednesday, so you know what that means. Q&A, open.
Bring it, people.
Other than Greg's going to cuss a lot.
Well, you guys,
again, I wouldn't take the under on Wednesday's episode. When there's not a guest, Greg is even more salty than usual.
Oh, watch me just go completely clean on the show. Everybody loses their ass on the bets.
Yeah.
And there's the first curse word. Anyways, guys, I love you. We do this for you. Please share this with a friend. If you know anyone who has a Facebook group about lending real estate or real estate investing or anything real estate, and they have full admin status, if you want us to stream this directly into that group at no cost for free, just contact us, put us in contact, and we'll stream into that group for them. Until then, Wednesday, guys, we love you. We're out of here. Peace out, ninjas. Bye.
Later, guys.